Some very, very interesting news here in Canada. The Conservative Party have certainly started to show that they are now white supremacists. A lot of people suspect them to be. After all, they are conservatives. But now we have some significant evidence. Hate speech over the telephone and internet has now been made possible. Well, not so much possible as tolerable. Section 13 of the Human Rights Act has been removed. It prohibited the communication of hate via the telephone or internet. You couldn't call somebody racial slurs or slurs towards sexual minorities over the internet or over the telephone. That was considered illegal. It's not that way anymore. Now, this does date back to the 1970s when neo-Nazi groups were causing a hell of a lot of problems. They were handing out pamphlets and stuff like that, and they were forming organizations, and, well, the hell with the Nazis. 20 years later, it became illegal to do this on the internet as well. It originally started over hate speech over the phone, and now used to cover the internet as well. Now, a lot of conservatives are delighted about this. I don't know why. They're jumping up in celebration of this. Conservative bloggers, people in the conservative government, and regular, everyday, working class conservatives are really happy about this. It's very strange listening to them talk about freedom and whatnot while promoting the legitimization of hate speech over the internet and then over the telephone. This is insane. Now, what is mind-boggling to me about this is that the fact that it happened. There was no mandate for this. There was no public outcry saying that we want to be able to use racial and ethnic slurs over the telephone and internet. There was no public outcry about this. There was no mandate within Parliament for this. It just seems to have done out of nowhere, and it seemingly has no real reason for its existence. I mean, there are things in the past conservatives have done that we do certainly understand why they exist. They're killing off environmental regulations to make it easier to pollute because it's cheaper and more cost-effective for oil companies and others to do that. Why do they cut down on regulations? So that companies can do more about what they want and can make more money. There's a rationale behind what they do. This seemingly has no rationale. It seems almost like a complete and blatant open endorsement of hate speech. It's almost incomprehensible to me. I mean, I don't know what useful idea has ever been conveyed by using racial slurs. It's meaningless. It's not a victory for freedom of speech, as a lot of conservatives are trying to play it out to be. And it's weird because now we're worse than the United States. I mean, in terms of hate speech, the United States is well ahead and above us for a lot of this stuff, but it appears now we may actually be worse, and that's actually a frightening thought to me. Now, a lot of conservatives have made the argument, well, now it's still banned on certain services. You can't go around saying that on Facebook, and that Facebook will shut you down if you do. And this is kind of their argument for, well, if saying racist and hateful things is bad, then the market will be able to decide that. Companies will start their own social media sites, and if the social media site's okay with it, then it's okay, and then if people don't want to, they won't do it, and all this other completely ridiculous arguments in favor of freedom of hate speech that don't correspond to the really existing material conditions. Mainly because the people who use hate speech are not often actually victims of it. I mean, how often are white conservatives called faggot or called the N-word or any of the other hateful things? None. It seems like the biggest supporters of the freedom of hate speech are people who aren't victims of it. Well, actually, that should make perfect sense. Now, but like, you ask yourself, what kind of conservative actually likes this? What conservative is actually going out celebrating this? Well, Ezra Levant. Ezra Levant thinks it's a good idea, and in fact, he wrote an article on it called "Conservatives Strike a Blow for Freedom." Now, he blames hate speech laws on a guy, John Ross Taylor, who was a Nazi in the 1920s. And he's going around putting out pamphlets, giving speeches on why we should all be fascist and Why blame the Jews and all the other Nazi garbage? Now, in his article, he calls them pathetic, that he put up articles and that nobody wanted to follow him, and that he was the troublemaker and all that stuff. And he calls him a pathetic loser, and that we have these huge, evil censorship laws because of one pathetic loser. And he portrays it all because of this one guy. Ezra Levant genuinely believes that we have anti-hate speech laws because of one guy who went around annoying people. Now, in case Ezra Levant forgot, Nazism was actually particularly strong. Not just then, but later on, when some of the accomplishments of Nazi Germany were actually revealed and what they had managed to accomplish, a lot of people did jump on board with it. And then we found out what a bunch of genocidal psycho shits they are. He seems to have forgotten, even though he's Jewish himself, what the Nazis did and what they represent, and thinking that just silencing Nazis is wrong. Of course, he says banning hate speech is wrong, which, of course, would no way be an endorsement of Nazi hate speech. That would actually call for him to be killed. Now, he calls him a harmless buffoon, and he says that this is a very small, pathetic excuse for writing hate speech laws. He says, what an abusive law, what an un-Canadian law, what a ridiculous law in the age of the internet. That's absolutely insane. We have anti-hate speech, anti-genocide laws for a reason. For speech and promotion of these things is illegal for a reason. Okay, I'll continue the quote. 1. Last week, that law was pulled out like a noxious weed. In 20 years' time, I predict to be regarded as one of the conservatives' greatest legacies. Freedom. One. Well, apparently something that shuts down things that call for the extermination of the Jews, of which he is one, is okay by him. It's one of those draconian laws that are being used to silence people all over the place, and it's interfering in other things, and it's going too far, and that it's censoring other people and ideas and expressions that are legitimate, except that he doesn't exactly cite one example of this law being abused. Not one. He just calls it a blow for freedom, strength for freedom of speech. And it does not do that in any way, shape, or form. It makes me wonder what the hell is just going on inside this man's mind. What the hell is going on in the minds of the Conservative Party to just go ahead and make hate speech in this particular form of transmission okay? That Article 13 was inherently fascist, that screaming pro-Holocaust and promoting a pro-Holocaust view is somehow okay. You know, this is one of those things that takes a government from just being genuinely being evil, war-supporting, human life-destroying pieces of garbage and taking them to a cartoonish level of evil. Like, this is some cartoonish, mad scientist level insanity. And because of this and a combination of other things that have recently happened, I can honestly say for a fact, I hate this country now. This is what this country wants. It's insane.